Well, hello everyone. Okay, sorry for that delay there. Had a few issues. Yeah, still having a few issues, so I'm trying to trying to link in with Alacia, and it is having some problems. Trying to get the audio tested and set up. Um, so yeah, that's really yeah, we're gonna see how what we can do here. See if I can bring her in at some point. So yeah, hey everyone, happy Halloween. It is it is October 31st, so something to be a little excited about. Of course, it's not my favorite holiday. My favorite holiday, of course, is the day after Cheap Candy Day. Gotta love Cheap Candy Day. But but Halloween is one of those holidays that, well, it's an odd holiday. And I know on the show I talk about holidays throughout the year and how weird they are, like Columbus Day and how messed up that holiday is. But this Halloween is one of those holidays where it's the least religious holiday I know of. It really is. It's really strange. Um, it really is. It's an odd holiday because while a ton of people follow it, the religious origins of it are usually not followed or even thought of. So a very strange thing. Oh, I see you're chatting in here. Wow. Right. You are, Chris. I love Cheap Candy Day. Uh, Halloween Cheap Candy Day is not necessarily my favorite. I mean, Valentine's Cheap Candy Day is probably you get slightly better quality chocolate. Just gonna say, but if you're going for quantity, if you're going for the sheer volume of candy, it is really hard to beat Halloween Cheap Candy Day. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah, tomorrow, of course, All Saints Day. Always nice, always fun. And yeah, and then the day after that, on November 2nd, is, wait for it, All Souls Day. Because historically, when you go back in Christian tradition long enough, they always did those things in pairs or threes or something. They had, the following it the night before, the day, and the day after, and they like to do that kind of thing. I don't know. It's something about Christians and threes. I'm just saying. Maybe you've noticed that before too. But yeah. It is different. It is different. Um yeah, okay. Easter cheap candy day. I will totally give you that, Alacia. That is a good one. That is a really good one. Halloween pretzels. Yeah, okay. Okay. I can get behind that. That's not bad. That's pretty cool. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, we all have our favorites. Either you like bitter or sweet or something like that. I mean, there's a lot of different options. A lot of different options. Now, I don't know how many of you know this, but the origins of Halloween go back a ways. I'm proud to say this because, well, I'm the Irish bard, but it has a Celtic influence primarily. It goes back a long ways, but depending on how you look at it, it either has some pagan origins or some Christian origins, or a mixture of both. And since Christianity tended to absorb some pagan festivals and make them their own so that they could appeal to the local populations better, probably both in many ways. And of course, the Irish and Scottish introduced it more into America when they immigrated in the late 1800s. So yeah, kind of an interesting thing. And then of course you get to trick or treating, which is the big thing. I mean, dressing up was that's always been a thing. It goes back to the whole mummers and geysers of guising of the 1800s. But yeah, I mean, the whole trick or treating thing that really didn't get started until the mid to late 30s, um, interestingly enough. And that's kind of odd because then, of course, World War II happens. And my theory is that it started getting going, and then everybody wanted a distraction for the kids during a world war. So I think that became a popular thing to do every October to try to distract kids and give them something to look forward to during a tough time. And after you do something 3 years or more in a row, it becomes a tradition. So I honestly believe that maybe World War II played a part in getting Halloween to be an established, well, at least trick or treating to become an established thing. And then, of course, after the war, the baby boom happened, and the 50s and everything, and then it went trick or treating was crazy everywhere. So yeah, and surprisingly, the chocolate companies, they jumped on the bandwagon and tried to sell more chocolate. Shocking, I know, but good for them to get involved. Oh yeah, again with the threes. Um, oh yeah, and there's tons of influence everywhere. I mean, now of course, because it became so popular in America, Halloween is celebrated all over the world now in many different places. Just for the fun, just for the dressing up, and just for the parties, and just for the candy. But one thing you can say that's universally appealing: uh, dressing up in candy. Let's just admit that and accept it right now. Definitely. So yeah, so I'm just going to I guess wish you all a happy happy Halloween. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. I'm already anticipating because you know what's going to happen tomorrow. Cheap candy and Thanksgiving decorations are going to be out, with some Christmas decorations just to mess with our minds. And then it's all gonna, yeah. The fall is such a weird time for all of the holidays, don't you think? I always have. Uh, no, Janine, I never really did. I never went with the whole trick route. I think it was always that kind of, we just want candy. I mean, there's playing a trick on somebody and candy at level of importance. And candy was much more important than the possibility of playing a trick. Don't you think? Um, I know, right? Yeah, I no, not at all. Not at all. They're just reaping the rewards with their channel or their television channel. That's what they're doing. Definitely. Oh, okay. Really? That's great. That's great, Healy. Yeah, it's yeah, that it is. It is crazy how popular it is everywhere. Really strange. I remember I'm not going to ask all of y'all. I mean, what do you remember dressing up when you were kids? Did you do that? I mean, I did. I grew up in suburbia. I mean, I was in the suburbs outside of Houston growing up, and my parents were really, they had the old school. Uh they're from the children from the 50s kind of thing, and they they really were like, no, you got to do trick or treating, and it was a huge thing. And my mom would sew costumes for myself and my sister, and I mean, it was crazy. It was that type of family, and yeah, very. Sometimes it was a little Leave It to Beaver sometimes, but no, I mean, it was a lot of fun. Sometimes culturally inappropriate with the choice of costumes, but always always fun. So yeah, I mean, what did y'all do with costumes? Oh my gosh. Yeah, now I'm catching up on comments. Sorry. Um, oh really? You go with the Hallmark Christmas movies? Yeah, and that is what they do. That is a thing. They're gonna go crazy with it, and usually they have a ton of Christmas movies new each year, and then when they go in the archive with all of the ones for the past 20 years that they have, I know 20 years, it gets nuts because they can just barrage you with uh, with the Christmas movie. Luckily, they don't show all of them because I'm going to be honest, some of them from 15 years ago were really, really bad, really bad. Uh, oh wow, okay, okay, um, cool. Always good to wear the costumes to work. Okay, until sixth grade. Nice, nice. Wow, every single year. Yeah, 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 yeah. It is always interesting, to say the least. Now, I did want to bring up a couple of movies that have come out that maybe you have seen. Um, First one being Hocus Pocus 2. And that one is a remake of the original 1993 movie Hocus Pocus with Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker and Kathy Najimy. And yeah, it was. It's interesting because the original did not really do well at the box office. The critics kind of panned it. Siskel and Ebert, thumbs down, and it didn't do well, but it was a Disney film, so they started showing it on television every October, year after year, and it developed a huge following on TV, and it always ruled the night whenever they would show it. So yeah, they did a remake, and if you like the original, I mean, yeah, how many of you have seen the original Hocus Pocus from '93? And whether you liked it or not, I'm be curious because it's it's a weird film. It kind of started that resurgence of interest in the occult. To be honest, I mean, in '92 you had Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, and then in '93 you had Hocus Pocus, and then what comes out after that? You start getting into the Buffy television show and Charmed and all of that kind of stuff, and you get that resurgence of interest where you had interest in the occult in like the '60s and '70s, and then it kind of fell off the radar and was just a thing in B movies in the late '70s and '80s. But yeah, it kind of came back that, and I think this kind of ushered in that interest. I think it maybe I I don't know if it predated it, if it was just bad timing. I think what happened is the re-showing it on television really got people interested, and that helped with the other shows. So, hey, what does Buffy the Vampire Slayer, what does that have to do with Hocus Pocus? I think that. So yeah, a little trivia there. Yeah. Wow, it's not scrolling automatically for me on this window right now. Oh well. So I've got to keep manually scroll and catch up because I'm missing your comments. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Okay. So wouldn't let you go after fifth grade. Okay. That's always. Yeah, I mean most people kind of saw the movie. Um, right? That's always the classic. Oh, and The Craft. That is another good example. Definitely. Oh, right, and you're right. I said remake, didn't I? It is a sequel. You're totally right. Um, it felt like a remake, and I'll jump into my review. Um, they remade it because let me tell you, the first one, those witches were evil. They were bad. I mean, they it's Disney, so they minimized how bad it was as much as they could. But at the beginning of the film, three witches kill a little girl so that they can steal her life force so that they can be young. These are not nice people. And in the end, they're defeated and they are not really, I mean, they're goofy. So they try to minimize how scary they would be by giving them great personalities. But people like them so much, they kind of forgot they're evil. So in the second film, what they did was they went to a backstory and started trying to make you feel empathy for them and make them redeemable and all of this stuff where, I mean, these are three witches that killed little girls for years and were pretty mean. I mean, I you know, how how few kids do you have to kill in order to be redeemable? I'm just throwing this out here. Um, so they really tried to reinvent them because the witches were so popular. So it felt a little more like a remake to me and less like a sequel. Although technically, yeah, you're right, totally right. It was a sequel, totally right. Um, but yeah, yeah, it is interesting. Um, yeah, definitely. I think it's worth checking out. If you like the original, you will like it. You will like it. It is a cute film. It's definitely a cute film. Being Human, well, yeah, that's definitely one. um, oh yeah, yeah. I think the Crow is another very good example. Although that was certainly more on the darker side, where everything I mentioned is more a little more jokey kind of fun stuff, not quite as serious. Uh, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There's a certain comedic aspect to it. Uh, yeah, definitely. I know. Totally, totally. Woo. Well, another movie that came out, it's kind of a TV movie, and both of these are on Disney Plus, by the way, is Werewolf by Night, and it's a Marvel movie. It's based on the comic book series Werewolf by Night. That, uh, yeah, it's I don't know. It's hard to explain because I don't like horror films. I really don't. It's my least favorite genre, and I like this film. It's very much a homage to the classic Universal Studios films of the 1930s and 40s, like The Mummy and the Werewolf and Frankenstein and Dracula and all of those. It's filmed mostly in black and white, and it feels like it. They do a really good job with it. There's comedic elements. I mean, one of the big nasty creatures is named, I'm not kidding, Ted. I mean, it's they do a good job. It's sort of like if Guardians of the Galaxy uh, turned into a an old Universal horror movie. That's kind of how it feels. They do a good job with it. I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised. So yeah, if you get a chance, it's not a very long film, but both of these are on Disney Plus. Werewolf by Night and Hocus Pocus 2. Something to check out and enjoy, especially on a night like tonight if you have time after the show, because it's good. It is actually really good. Yeah, I'm sorry, The Wolfman. You are correct. I'm trying to read three things at once, so I'm getting tongue-tied on there. So, but thank you for correcting me. That's why you're here, because not that I make many mistakes, but for the few I do, I appreciate you being here, Alicia. And I know your goth self loves horror films. It's just not so much my jam. I always say that if I wanted to be scared, I would think about some of my exes, and that's not a lie. So, um, oh wow, okay, yeah, that is true. Um, yeah, okay, I can see that. I can see that. Empathizable evil is scarier than uncharismatic evil. Always interesting. Ah, so yes. Oh, really? At a horror film festival? I did not know that. So little known fact. Um, very cool. Yeah, and I think that tends to happen with people, Helly. It's kind of it's really a type of thing where you always have that either the blind spot of a type of horror film that you're like, oh, this is like zombie movies are okay, but everything else scares me, and bothers me, or it's just something that you can relate to on some level that it works. So yeah, I think that's kind of it. For me, the lighthearted stuff, the minimal stuff, the almost more fantasy sci-fi version of horror, I'm sometimes okay with as long as they don't go over the top with it. Um, so yeah, like the old classic horror films, I'm like, yeah, that's more just throwing out an idea and running with it. The others, yeah, and slasher films just always came across as stupid to me. I never quite got it, never did. I'm sorry. This is just me, of course. I'm not saying that's what they are. I'm just saying that's my opinion. But you all have your thing. I mean, there's certainly genres that I love, and if you love the horror genre, perfectly all right. Nothing wrong with it. Yeah, definitely. I mean, but for me, Halloween is not so much about horror. It's about more important things, like candy. Definitely candy. Ah. Hmm. So yes, it is wonderful. Um, Always have to love it. Let me jump over to and talk about fairs real quick. Well, because we're already running out of time, and we do have some fairs coming up. Always interesting. Let's see. Let's go with a fair map here, and you'll notice that most of the fairs are now in the south. There's like this line going across, and there's a couple just south of. Well, I mean, to be blunt, it's just south of the Mason-Dixon line. So yeah, I mean, it a couple there, and then the rest are just all south, and it's really, yeah, it's the weather. I mean, it is all about the weather when you get to November, because it is going. You're gonna have those weekends that are cold. Let's just be honest on this. So it's cold is okay, snowstorm is bad. So they go with the lower states. So yeah, let's jump in here, and here we go. Um, yes, here we go. Okay, so let's get the cat. Oh wait, hold on. Not getting the. I'm not getting the laser pointer. No, what's going on? Let me check this. Hold on. Here we go. Laser pointer. Whew, that was close. For a second, I thought I was going to be denied the laser point. No, we got it. We got it. We're good. We're good. All right. We're going to start up in Delaware. with the Delaware Renaissance Fair in Townsend, Delaware. It's one weekend only. And then jumping down into La Plata, Maryland, is Vikings Con. Now, I was on the fence on this one because it's actually calls itself a con as opposed to a fair, but it's at a fairgrounds. It's out mostly outside. It's they have a lot of events and entertainment that's just like a Ren Fair, so or like a Viking Fest. So I'm kind of it. Yeah, if it was indoors, I wouldn't show it, but it is mostly outdoors. So I'm gonna let it be on the list. But I did think about it, even though it's called Vikings Con. So jumping down into the Carolina Renaissance Festival in Huntersville, North Carolina, 3 weekends left. And this weekend is Pirates Christmas weekend. That's really Pirates Christmas weekend. What an odd theme. Okay, then jumping over to Tennessee, we have the Appalachian Renaissance Fair of Tennessee in Greenville, Tennessee. That's just one weekend. And then going down to Georgia, we have the Somerville Mini Renaissance Festival. I mean, that's interesting to call themselves the Mini Renaissance Festival. Like the small little Renaissance Festival. That's an interesting way to go. In Somerville, Georgia. It's only on Saturday, so maybe that's the mini part. It's only one day instead of two. So yeah, I'll give them that. That works. Okay, that works. Going down to Florida, we have, boom, the fall upswing in Florida fairs. So starting off with the Lady of the Lakes Renaissance Fair in Tavares, Florida. It's a 2-weekend fair. This will be the first weekend. And then going down to Sarasota Medieval Fair and Miaka City, Florida. And that's going to be 4 weekends, and this is opening weekend. The theme is Vibrant Vikings Visit. They love their alliteration. Then going down to Camelot Days Medieval Festival in Hollywood, Florida, and that's a 3-weekend fair, and this is the first weekend. Now, going over to Arkansas, woohoo! The Hot Springs Renaissance Fair in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Just 1 weekend, but something to check out, and that's one way to avoid the cold. Put it in the hot springs. Then you go down to the Louisiana Renaissance Festival in Hammond, Louisiana, and that's where I'm going to be for the next 6 weekends. That's right. It is first of 6 weekends, and the theme is Romance and Masquerade. So I will be hanging out in the New Orleans area for the next month and a half. So the next show, I'll be talking to you from there. Then going over to Oklahoma, we have the Oklahoma City Renaissance and Scottish Festival in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Just 1 weekend. So that's a new one, so something to check out and see how that goes. And continuing, we have the Texas Renaissance Festival in Todd Mission, Texas. Now, they still have 4 weekends left, so a lot more to go. A lot of excitement and fun there. Then we have over in California, the Escondido Renaissance Fair. This is the final weekend in Escondido, California. So there we go. A little fun with the fairs. Always interesting. Yeah. Not bad, eh? So really cool stuff. Let's see. I was gonna try to bring Alacia in on this, and I'm not sure how well it's going to work. I don't even think I can hear her. So I don't know if it's going to come in and work on here. Let me I think she just tried to turn on her mic and I nearly went deaf. Okay. That was interesting. Maybe wow, that was different. Oh, okay. So I think maybe she's okay. Let's give this a shot. Let's see if she can come in here. I'm gonna try this and see if we can bring her in. If we can, maybe we'll do 7 Reasons. If we can't, we might put it off. Oh, hold on. There.
Thumbs up if you can hear me, Andrew, because I can't hear you.
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay. Well, 7 Reasons. Halloween is the best holiday. So, number 7. My decor and fashion are finally available in stores. I mean, this Halloween blanket behind me is literally out year round. So that's how it goes. Number 6, another free candy day. I mean, this is an obvious one. Let's be real here. Andrew has already expounded upon this. I don't need to go into anymore. So, number 5, seasonal flavors. Okay, you might not be a pumpkin spice person, but you've also got apple cider and caramel apple and just regular pumpkin. Just life is good that way. Also, pumpkin and chai. Just saying. So, number 4, classic cinema is on TV. So Andrew touched on this a little bit, but like the Universal classics, there's just nothing better. I would also personally argue that there is something to be said about the Creature from the Black Lagoon and how it is a pinnacle of storytelling, and it's a shift from the old ways of storytelling in movies to the new. Anyways, number 3, historical events in cemeteries. Like, this goes without like the ghost hunts or any of the crazy stuff, but you can go to a historic cemetery and find actors standing next to the grave pretending to be the person and tell you about their life. I mean, I might be a little morbid, but I think that's the coolest thing ever. I don't know. So, number 2, pumpkins are superior for decoration. Just period. 100%. I love a good classic real tree, but just no with the fake stuff, no with the cinnamon scented pine cones, none with no. Christmas decorations are inferior. And number 1, costumes. Duh. I mean, I'm not actually wearing a costume at this exact moment. Believe it or not, this is just a cryptid dress. But, I mean, we dress up for a living. Who doesn't love Halloween? Damaris was sending me some amazing Halloween pictures. I mean, give me all the Halloween fun stuff. And those are 7 reasons why Halloween is the superior holiday of all. Just saying.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, we'll go back here and wow. Okay. So that semi worked. I'm gonna tweak that for next time and make sure it works a little better, so that the sound and everything is a little more coordinated. We didn't have much time before the show to try to sync everything, and it kind of hurt. But no, totally worth it. I appreciate that. Well done, Alicia, on those 7 reasons. And I mean, you can already guess that Halloween is not necessarily my favorite holiday. I've made the most of it, but I think it's one of Alicia. I think it's Alicia's favorite holiday, or certainly one of them. Definitely near the top of the list from the sound of it. So good. It was perfect that she did that. Yes, yes. Oh wow, yeah, it is. Well, I didn't want. I wasn't. I know that you were having trouble hearing me, so I didn't want to cause problems. So I was trying to, Okay, just for those of you that had doubts, yes, I can. I can shut up if I need to. I know some of you would have lost that bet, but it's okay. Perfectly all right. Well, there we go. That is our show for Halloween, and next week I will be probably broadcasting from New Orleans. So we'll see what I can do with all that. I don't know. It's either going to work really well or I'm going to have some issues. But we will see. Totally agree that it is less stressful than other holidays. I've never considered Halloween very stressful. That I will admit. I totally admit. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, see you soon, Harvey, and everybody have a wonderful Halloween, a wonderful night. and a great week. Next week I'll be at Faire, so uh, yeah, I will share some of the news and bits of intel from that experience and describe a little more about how I'm enjoying my Faire life. Take care.